From Trinidad and Tobago in the south to the Turks and Caicos in the north, the Caribbean is known for the beauty of its natural resources. Undoubtedly, its most precious natural resource is its people, and especially its children. To help ensure that the rights of all children are fulfilled, all Caribbean countries signed and ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Indeed, in keeping with the commitment made when they signed and ratified the CRC, Caribbean governments have made significant progress in ensuring the health and well-being of their children. For example, a child born in the Caribbean will now generally have access to a wide range of health services, will be immunized, and will live past the age of 5. They now also have access to free primary education, and the region continues to strive towards achieving universal secondary education. Legislation has also been enacted to protect Caribbean children from harm and violence. The old adage, children should be seen but not heard, is gradually becoming a thing of the past as schools are establishing students' councils and other fora to encourage the meaningful participation of students. But while we are proud of these achievements, there is another side to this idyllic picture. A significant number of children from birth to 3 years of age do not have access to early childhood services that provide the quality stimulation that children need at this critical stage of their lives. This is especially so for children with disabilities, as very few early childhood development centers cater to their needs. This is worrying, especially in a region where an estimated 6% of the population has some form of disability. In addition, the number of children who are not performing well at primary school is becoming a cause for concern. Data shows that 30% of children who leave primary school do not have the basic cognitive skills to benefit from secondary school education. Secondary education also has its challenges. As part of the effort to provide universal secondary education, spaces have been allocated, but attention also needs to be paid to the overall relevance of the curriculum to the needs of adolescents. Research has revealed that many students, especially boys, are dropping out of secondary school, citing boredom, lack of interest, a shortage of funds, and lack of encouragement and motivation to continue. A significant number of secondary school students are also leaving school without the requisite academic qualifications. In 2009, only 21% of the students entered for the Caribbean Secondary School Exit Examination attained passes in at least 5 subjects. 25% only passed 1 subject, and 28% did not pass any subjects at all. Alarm has also been expressed about the number of students who leave school with little or no life skills, lacking critical thinking and even interpersonal relationship skills. Some countries in the region have sought to address this by having the life skills-based Health and Family Life Education, HFLE, taught in schools, but not all students benefit from this course, as it is often not included on the official timetable in schools, and there are not enough adequately trained teachers to effectively teach the course. Furthermore, while student councils provide an outlet for students to exercise their right to participate, they are still of the view that to be more effective, they need greater support from both the administrative and the teaching staff at their schools. While the Caribbean is known as a region with mostly middle-income to high-income countries, a significant number of children in the region still live in poverty, and research has shown that social safety net programs are not properly targeted at poor children and their families. It is estimated that half of the children in Grenada and 40% of those in St. Kitts and Nevis come from income-poor families. Child abuse continues to remain a serious concern. A 2009 study on the perceptions and attitudes of child sexual abuse revealed that most of the abuse is committed by adult men known by the victim, and that most of the victims are girls. What worsens this situation is the fact that some of the laws have limited definitions of incest and therefore do not protect all victims. Countries also lack laws that enforce mandatory reporting of sexual abuse, and there are often very lengthy delays before a case can be heard. While the OECS region has developed model child protection bills, countries have been slow in adopting these bills. To date, only St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and the Turks and Caicos Islands have adopted one or more of these pieces of legislation. There is also concern about children victimized due to violence in their schools and communities. A study in Barbados found that 6 out of 10 students polled have been involved in a violent incident at school. From violence against children to children violating the law. There are concerns that children are being drawn into crime in a bid to escape poverty. Selling and ultimately using illegal drugs are but some of the areas of concern, and the issue of juveniles in conflict with the law is an inescapable fact that must be tackled. And now, looming again on the horizon, is the old re-emerging problem, migration. As the global financial situation worsens, parents, mainly unskilled laborers, continue to migrate to other countries seeking greener pastures. In order to hide their illegal immigration status, they often do not access social services for their children, putting them in danger of being exploited or pressed into child labor. Finally, one major threat to all of the strides that have been made in improving the lives of Caribbean children is natural hazards. The region is susceptible to floods, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and hurricanes, all of which are expected to intensify with the ongoing climate change. Many times, children become invisible casualties of these events. And yet, in disaster preparedness and response plans, countries often do not take the needs of children into consideration. We have shown you the other side of the picture. So where do we go from here? The countries of the Caribbean have achieved great progress in providing for their children. But, as we have shown, there's still an unfinished agenda. To this end, Caribbean governments must ensure that all children have access to quality early childhood education. Investment must be made in reviewing and reforming the curricula and teaching practices in schools in order to reduce the dropout and repetition rates and to improve learning outcomes. Child abuse, violence, and child protection issues must be tackled head-on. The region must proactively consider the needs of children in its disaster preparedness and response plans. And governments must ensure that national budgets, social safety nets, policies, and legislation are all-inclusive and impact on all children in order to break the existing intergenerational cycles of poverty and social exclusion. UNICEF stands ready to work with Caribbean governments and all other partners to address these issues. For the sake of the children, the time to act is now.